You've been visualizing it over and over. You close your eyes, feel the emotion, imagine the future, and then nothing changes. Or maybe it shifts for just a moment, a glimpse, a flicker, a small sign. Then you're back in the same loop, the same thoughts, the same place. If you've ever wondered why your vision feels powerful but doesn't stick, this is why. Visualization doesn't create reality, frequency does. There's a quantum difference between imagining a future and embodying it, between seeing what you want and becoming the person who already has it. In the quantum field, visualization is just one piece. The real key, the hidden code, is your frequency. And unless that frequency aligns with the reality you're calling in, it stays just out of reach, no matter how vividly you picture it. You've been told to ask, believe, receive, but the truth is, the field doesn't respond to requests. It responds to coherence, to energetic alignment, to the signal you carry, not the one you project in meditation, but the one in your breath, your choices, your emotions. Because the universe isn't listening to your words, it's listening to your state. That's the code. And once you understand it, once you see how subtle the shift really is, everything starts to change. Not because you tried harder or thought more positively, but because you stopped chasing, you stopped asking, you stopped acting like your dream life was far away, and instead started treating it like a frequency you could step into right now. This frequency, the one that unlocks the reality you've been visualizing, isn't theoretical. It's not abstract, it's vibrational, and it has a distinct texture, a quiet certainty, a steady pulse. It doesn't rush, it doesn't crave, it doesn't wonder when things will finally shift. It already knows, because when you act from the identity of someone who has already received, the field adjusts, because it must. So why does that shift feel so difficult? Why is it easy to picture something beautiful, yet so hard to hold the energy of already mine? Because everything in your past has trained you to vibrate in the frequency of not yet. You've been conditioned to wait, to earn, to prepare, to prove yourself worthy. And now for the first time, you're being asked to drop all of that and simply embody what once felt like a distant dream. It feels unnatural at first. It even feels like self-deception. But that's only because your nervous system hasn't caught up to your truth. Because this frequency we're stepping into, it's not new to your soul, it's just unfamiliar to your body. And part of this journey is teaching your body what your soul already knows. You're not chasing your future, you're remembering your alignment with it. You might wonder, but how do I stay in that frequency when nothing around me has changed yet? The answer is, you become the change first. You decide that your vibration leads, and the evidence follows. You shift your focus from what's missing to what's already here, from what you want to what you are. And as you do that, day after day, a new energy takes root, one that doesn't crumble under pressure, one that doesn't fade when the world gets loud again. It becomes your baseline, and that's when the field starts bending toward you. Not because you forced it, but because you finally matched it. This is what we'll explore in this video. Not just the idea of manifestation, but the frequency that actually unlocks the life you've envisioned. We'll talk about how to break free from the cycle of lack and step into the vibration of embodiment. How to act as if without forcing it. How to move like it's already yours, not to impress the universe, but because you're finally living in sync with it. Because there's a code, a precise energetic rhythm, and once you learn to tune into it, everything around you begins to respond. Gently, powerfully, consistently. Are you ready to remember what it feels like to align with the reality you've always held in your heart? Then let's begin. Let's be clear right now. The quantum field doesn't care about what you want. It responds to what you are. It doesn't decode your vision board. It doesn't weigh your intentions or count your affirmations. It simply mirrors the frequency you're emitting. And that frequency doesn't come from your goals. It comes from your identity. Not the identity you describe, but the one you live by. The one that shapes how you enter a room, how you respond to silence, how you carry yourself when no one's watching. Because in the quantum realm, reality isn't something you get, it's something you generate from within. So what does this mean practically? If you visualize abundance but live from scarcity, your field receives scarcity. If you visualize love but deflect compliments or shy from intimacy, your field registers resistance. If you visualize growth but speak as though you're stuck, your field believes you, because the field doesn't interpret your dreams, It reads your coherence. This is why so many people struggle on the manifestation path. They're doing everything right, meditating, journaling, scripting, visualizing, and yet nothing changes. Why? Because their thoughts and emotions don't match. They're trying to manifest from the mind, while the body still signals fear, unworthiness, or survival mode. The result? Mixed messages, and the quantum field reflects that confusion. This is where the shift happens. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions align, the field has no choice but to mirror that back. This is coherence. And in that state, your frequency becomes steady, strong, magnetic. That's when reality begins to shift. Think of it this way: desire without identity is just noise. But when your identity and desire merge, your signal becomes clear, and the field doesn't respond to desire. It responds to certainty. So how do we embody that certainty? Especially when there's no proof yet. You create the proof, not outside yourself, but within. You start acting as the version of you who already lives the reality you've imagined. You stop waiting to feel successful and begin dressing, speaking, moving like someone who is. Not because you're pretending, but because you're rediscovering who you truly are, beneath the doubt. Neville Goddard called this living from the end. Joe Dispenza calls it rewiring your brain and body. Greg Braden refers to it as emotional coherence. But the core idea is the same. You stop trying to become and start being. That's the quantum frequency we're talking about. It's not something you chase, it's something you choose to embody again and again. Until your nervous system adjusts, until your inner voice stops resisting, until it feels so natural, you forget what it was like to vibrate with lack. And yes, it takes courage. Because stepping into that version of yourself before the world reflects it back can feel isolating, unsettling, even dishonest at first. But that's just your old identity clinging on. Its place in your energy field. Let it stay, acknowledge it, but don't let it drive. You're the signal now. You become the calibration point. You become the source of the shift, not the result of it. You become the reality. This isn't about faking confidence. It's about tuning into the frequency of already being and living from that. It's about teaching your system to feel safe in the space of enough. Because when your subconscious feels safe, your energy grows. And when your energy grows, the field responds. So if you've been trying, forcing, stuck in loops, don't let that go. You're not here to grind harder for your dreams. You're here to realize the version of you who already lives them isn't far off. It's just on a different frequency, a steadier one, a more real one. And that version, it already knows how to move, speak, decide, and feel like it's done. Because for them, it is. Let's go meet them. We've reached the part most people get wrong. And this is where everything actually shifts, acting as if. Those two words get misunderstood, oversimplified, even laughed at, because on the surface they sound like pretending, like forcing, like wearing a costume and hoping the universe falls for it. But acting as if isn't pretending. It's frequency training. When you act as if it's already yours, you're syncing your body with your desired signal before the world approves. You're not waiting for proof. You're being the proof. And in doing that, you're sending a clear, unshaken message to the field. I'm ready. I'm here. Match me. This isn't easy, because your surroundings might still reflect the old you. Your bank account might still whisper scarcity. Your relationships might still replay old patterns. And yet you're being asked to act from the new frequency. Anyway, why? Because that's how energy takes shape. Not by waiting, by identity. So how do you do it? Start small. You don't need to rebuild your life. You need to shift how you move through it, how you speak about yourself, how you stand, how you react when something good happens. Do you embrace it fully, or doubt if it's real? Every tiny choice tells the field what you believe you're worthy of. If you were already living your best life, how would you wake up tomorrow? What would you wear, even if no one saw you? How would you breathe, eat, walk, or speak? This isn't about appearances, it's about your energy. Would you still make yourself small in certain rooms? Would you still apologize for being honest? Would you ignore your gut just to keep the peace? Or would you choose like someone who truly trusts themselves? Like someone who doesn't need to chase the thing, because they've already become the person who has it? See, when you change your energy, everything else starts to shift. That's why some call this quantum shifting. Because your choices, as small as they seem, are like pebbles tossed into a pond, rippling out further than you can see. So instead of asking, when will it happen? Ask, How would I act today if I knew it already did? This is where you stop reacting and start attracting. When your words, tone, and presence align with the reality you've imagined, you're not trying to manifest something. You're just being the version of you that's already there. And here's the crazy part. You'll notice the world responds. People act differently around you. Ideas come easier. Coincidences stack up. Not because the universe decided to bless you, but because your energy became clear enough to cut through the static. You stopped wasting time on someday and started living in now. This is alignment. This is how manifestation really works. Not by pleading, scripting, or forcing it, but by becoming the energy your future self already lives in. And yes, your mind will resist. It'll say, "But we don't have that yet." It'll ask, "Aren't you worried you're delusional?" That's not truth. That's your past trying to hold you back. Let it talk. Then keep going. Because this isn't about convincing anyone else. It's about training your field to trust what your soul already knows. So today, speak one sentence as if it's already done. Make one choice as if you're already there. Take one step as if it's already yours. Because the more you act like it's yours, the more the field believes you. And when the field believes, your reality shifts to match your signal. There are moments in your journey where everything feels still. You've done the inner work. You've steadied your energy. You've stopped chasing. And yet nothing major seems to happen. But deep down, something has changed. Your mind is calmer. Your nervous system feels more at ease. You begin to notice small shifts in how you respond to the world. And then, it happens. A number appears. Repeating. Effortlessly. 3 digits that keep showing up across days, places, screens, clocks, receipts. It's 777. You might see it and dismiss it as coincidence. But part of you, the part that's more awake now, knows it's not chance. It's a message, a quiet activation, a reflection of your vibration. You weren't searching for a sign, and that's precisely why it arrived. Because the field doesn't answer to desperation, it answers to alignment. And 777 only appears when your field is aligned deeply enough for the quantum to echo back. It's not announcing that your manifestation is coming. It's confirming you've become a match for what's already orbiting you. That the energetic seed you planted, sometimes with purpose, sometimes through silent presence, is now pulsing at the frequency of bloom. In spiritual traditions, the number 7 holds sacred meaning. It's tied to divine wisdom, intuition, inner knowing. When it triples, it goes beyond numerology. It becomes a mark of harmony, not flawlessness, but alignment. It means your thoughts, actions, and emotions are no longer in conflict. You're no longer trying to manifest from a body that doesn't feel safe to receive. You're no longer visualizing with your mind while your heart whispers fear. You've found balance, maybe not perfectly, but enough to shift your path. In quantum terms, 777 appears when possibility is about to take form. You're still surrounded by infinite potentials, but your signal is drawing reality toward one expression, the one you've been tuning into through emotional clarity and inner rewiring. The field has recognized you, not through words but through vibration. And this number isn't a prize, it's a mirror of resonance. It appears not to give you something, but to show you what you've already become. And this is where most people miss its power. They see 777 as permission to relax, to step back, to assume it's handled now. But this moment isn't about stepping away. It's about rooting deeper. It's a threshold. And your role isn't to celebrate too soon or fall back into passivity. Your role is to hold the signal, stay in the flow, and let the field keep settling into you without interruption. You've heard that manifestation seems sudden, but nothing in the quantum happens abruptly. What feels instant in the physical was built gradually in the unseen. 777 marks that tipping point. The delicate balance between intention and inevitability. The place where your reality isn't approaching you anymore. It's crystallizing around you. And yet 777 is more than a sign of alignment. It's also an invitation to deepen your presence, to stop seeking and start embodying. To notice how your body feels right now, and ask, is this how the version of me living that reality would feel? Would they hurry? Would they second guess? Or would they trust the structure taking shape beneath the surface? Because that's what this is, a structural shift. You're not manifesting an outcome, you're rewiring the core of who you are, how you think, feel, move, speak, choose. The field responds to that identity. And the number isn't announcing what's next, it's confirming what's already here. And if you sense that, not just intellectually but viscerally, If something in you recognizes this message as timely, exact, true, then pause. Let your system absorb it. Let your nervous system relax into this confirmation. Let your heart settle into this knowing. You're not aligning anymore. You are aligned. The shift isn't arriving, it's solidifying. What you've envisioned isn't a distant dream, it's a frequency you've locked onto. And if you want to anchor that resonance, not just within yourself, but in the collective field of everyone witnessing this, then leave 777 below. Not as a lucky charm, as a declaration. A quiet way of saying, I feel it, I remember, I'm home. Sometimes numbers are just numbers, but sometimes they're a language, a mirror, a code, a truth you're finally ready to live. Maybe no one told you, but manifestation isn't about getting what you want. It's the art of remembering who you are, and every frequency you've sought, abundance, peace, purpose, love, already lives in that remembrance. It's not out there waiting to be earned, it's in you, waiting to be claimed. The truth is, you've already touched it before. You've had glimpses, flashes of alignment, moments when time dissolved, and you felt completely at peace for no reason. Moments when your heart opened without warning, when the right words came effortlessly, when a decision felt like it came from somewhere deeper. Those weren't accidents. They were previews of the self you're becoming more often, and the life that version of you naturally draws in. Quantum manifestation isn't about forcing those moments to happen more. It's about expanding your ability to stay in them, to make those states your normal, to become someone who doesn't need to visualize because you're already vibrating with what you once imagined. And that shift won't happen overnight, but you'll notice it in subtle ways. A conversation that flows perfectly, a quiet calm in the middle of chaos, a choice made without doubt. These are signs your signal is steadying, that you're no longer reaching for the field. You're in it, part of it, radiating a frequency that no longer bargains with the past. And this matters, because the old identity will still whisper. It'll say, you're not ready. Who do you think you are? You need proof first. It'll try to pull you back into your history. And every time you catch it, you'll have a choice. Do I replay the old story, or do I hold the new one for just one more breath? That's where your power lies now. Not in how loud you are, or how fast you move, but in how steadily you can stay in the energy of already mine. Not to impress anyone, not to trick the field, but because that's who you are now. You're not looking for signs, you're becoming one. You're not acting worthy, you're living it. And the universe doesn't need convincing, it just responds. This is what it means to truly manifest, not to force the world to obey you, but to align your inner state so completely that the world reflects it back. Not because you're controlling matter, but because you've dissolved resistance, sharpened your signal. You've erased the static between your highest self and your current reality. And when that happens, something unexpected arrives. Peace. Not excitement, not adrenaline. Peace. Because you realize you're no longer chasing. You're allowing. You're receiving. You're watching your own energy return to you as people, opportunities, clarity, and beauty. There's no bigger shift than that. And the more you return to it, again and again, the more your nervous system learns it's safe to stay here. Not just visit this frequency, but live in it, to make this alignment your home. Not because life is perfect, but because your stability no longer depends on the outside world. You've absorbed the field, learned to trust it, and it trusts you in return. So take a breath right now, a deep one. Let yourself receive all of this. Let it settle into your being, not as new knowledge, but as a truth you've always known. Feel your energy soften into the awareness that you've already transformed. You're not waiting for the quantum shift. You are the shift itself. And if something in this video met you at just the right moment, if it helped you grasp a piece that's been hovering just beyond your reach, then maybe this isn't just content. Maybe it's a mirror, a reflection of who you're becoming, a reminder that the frequency you've imagined isn't hypothetical, it's real, and you're finally living it. If that rings true, if it resonates, then I invite you to stay connected with this space. To subscribe, not out of obligation, but because it aligns. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a frequency. And if you found yourself breathing differently while watching, you're already part of it. We're not just watching videos here. We're practicing new realities. We're not just consuming, we're shaping possibility into existence. We're not just learning, we're remembering. And I'm glad you're here. Let's keep